And gentlemen,
Thank you, Mo.
I hope you deal with the noise. It's going to be a noisy one, but enjoy it.
We'll have to deal with it. We're at an aviation show, but thanks, Mo. I love the way you make me sound French. But nonetheless, welcome to the panel, gentlemen. Hugo, Oliveira, and Ahmed Houqani. Please put your hands together. We are going to talk about something very interesting. As someone who spends a fair bit of time inside aircraft and at airports, I often wonder, we'll have to make do with this, I often wonder how the entire ecosystem centers around people who are trained, retrained, retuned, which is why this conversation is very important. And today's workforce is not just about volumes, it's about velocity. How fast can they adapt and how consistently can they perform? Which is why we've got two amazing gentlemen from two different ends of the spectrum. Hugo Oliveira, who's the training lead, the director at Portugália Airlines, and of course Ahmed Houqani, who will give us perspective from a regulator's point of view. Let's start with Hugo. Let's zoom out a bit. Last 5 years, what kind of shift are you seeing in terms of AI and VR shaping the entire training ecosystem? What have you seen? What's the biggest shift in the last 5 years?
Well, let me just say that this noise is a beautiful noise. Everybody
absolutely, we love it.
We love the airplanes. The first thing I've noticed with AI was concern of the people. Not as much the instructors, but the crews related with training management started to worry a little bit, saying, well, AI is going to replace us in the office. As management, we need to reassure people that they will have to probably shift their duties, but there's a place still for everyone. AI is important in some part of the training. I've seen some companies introducing AI to replace part of the evaluation of instructors during the training. And as far as I can say, it is failing, because nothing can replace a well-trained instructor, and certainly not in a flight simulator. I was talking with my colleague, and we were talking that well, flight simulators are so good now that they can almost replace the aircraft, but they cannot replace the aircraft. There's nothing like the airplane, because there's a series of senses that are stimulated in an aircraft that doesn't happen in a flight simulator.
Yeah.
Especially because you know you are not in a real aircraft. And with AI is going to be the same thing. It's going to almost replace people in the aviation training, but not totally. We know that the flight simulators can automatically measure the deviation of a takeoff from the axis. They can measure the degrees that you deviate, but maybe sometimes you deviate for a good reason. Maybe there's a better solution than keeping the track in that particular takeoff. And only a well-trained instructor can assess that deviation and can give real credit for the pilot for doing so. So we have seen bringing up together. We have seen concern on people from the office about AI replacing their duties.
Yeah.
We need to reassure them that the duties will change. They will not be replaced.
Yeah.
Unless you are way back in the 80s, where we are still registering the training in a sheet of paper, then you should be concerned. But rather than that, in training, nothing will replace a well-trained, seasoned instructor.
Absolutely. In fact, I want to have a longer chat on how, whether at all humans are being replaced. There is a genuine fear there, and I'll come back to you on that. Let's bring in Ahmed at this point in time. As a regulator, how do you see this rise of, 5 years ago or maybe 10 years ago, the presence of AI in training modules were not as prominent as it is today. As a regulator, what's your take here in the UAE?
Well, let me take you back in time, Abhishek. So I've also heard from the previous panel discussion, there are challenges when it comes, digitizing the processes. In the UAE, we started this journey back in 2009.
Yeah.
Just give it,
Yeah,
here.
you can take your time, no worries.
We were supposed, to digitize all our processes.
Yeah.
So we started in 2009. And then in 2014, the mobile, technology came in.
Yeah.
And then we have a direction. We need to move to, mobile devices. Our services should be mobile friendly. And today, we have all our services automated, which we've got, dashboards, analytics, we've got everything ready. So I can say today we are an AI-ready regulatory entity in the UAE. So that's where AI comes in. AI is already there. 80% of the chunk is already ready to process our artificial intelligence applications. So there has been lots of changes. There was no disruption in the aviation industry in 40 years.
Yeah.
I think that's my responsibility in the UAE, and we like to take challenges. So we are going to move ahead. We'll lead the AI industry to ensure that we can apply it in the right manner.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, imagine you're talking about 2009. If somebody came and told you that there's a role called the Chief AI Officer, a lot of us would laugh at it. But that's a reality today. That's how we've evolved. Hugo, you've spoken about. I hope I'm still audible. You spoke about human intervention and how there's a genuine reassurance from your side that humans are still needed. Give us a sense, using some real-world examples, where AI and VR has really impacted any specific role or sector in your training department that's seen some real change, real-world examples.
Yeah, that's an easy one. We are quite tech-prone in our company. We are Portugal Airlines. Nobody knows us, but we are TAP. We are the regional airline for TAP. That's the name, the brand we operate in.
Yeah.
And we are the place where new technologies are tested before rolling them out to the big sister company. We've started with VR in 2022, where nobody was talking about AR, and I was being laughed at when I presented at the board. People are saying, what is this VR? This is a game. My kids play with VR. Now we are training pilots, cabin crew, and maintenance in 2026 with VR. People are asking us, they are visiting our training facilities to see what we're doing, because the results, the statistics, math doesn't lie. And then we roll out first metaverse training center in the world. And again, people are laughing, saying, well, that's the blue guys, the avatars and whatnot. And now I see that big companies are going into meta. With AI, we were actually more conservative, because we thought that AI would be good at spotting trends, looking at big data. Everybody's using Power BI, graphics are there, dashboards are there, but you look at data and there's much as human can spot. And AI is really good at saying, there's a slight increase of the maneuvers, the specific maneuver that is being failed on flight simulator sessions with this specific instructor, or in this specific flight simulator, or with this specific pilot. We can spot trends, major trends for the company and individual trends. AI gives us automatic reports when you look at the performance reports, and says, look, there's a slight decrease on the performance on the flight simulator after 4 p.m. And we got to analyze that, and we noticed that pilots that were starting the flight simulations at 4 p.m., they were arriving at the flight simulator center coming from a flight that would only arrive 3 hours before that. So there was fatigue where we didn't expect to see fatigue. So AI is helping us with that. It's spotting and highlighting trends. It's really important for that, because we can adjust our programs, customize our programs. and make it more tailor-made most of the times. AI is going to be big because with the evidence-based training, which Emirates uses and our companies also uses, most companies in Europe now use, we should do exams the same for everyone, a plain level field for everyone, but then the training needs to be customized in accordance with the difficulties that the specific individual has. And AI is spot on helping us see much more than we can see at the first glance.
Yeah, no surprises that you mentioned big data and AI. In fact, I wanted to take your view on this. How do you use data and governance, and what sort of challenges, if at all, do you face? Because you need consistent, clean data in implementing. As a regulator, you need data. Do you face any challenges at all? Let's simplify that question for you.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we have a structured data. Again, going back because we've already gone through the journey. So our data is very clean and neat. However, we had lots of challenges with specific challenge. Nevertheless, we are actually, as GCAA, the United Arab Emirates General Civil Aviation Authority, we started applying AI back in 2015. However, it was very challenging at that time. There was no infrastructure and there was no expertise at all. So we initiated this in 2023, and then we've seen, the capability is already there. When it came, nothing was ready yet. So it was completely a new industry for everyone. So we thought, should we wait or should we start? So we started internally developing our systems and creating that baseline. Nevertheless, it was still not the right approach. However, we were upskilling our team. So we've done all the governance inside. And there was a challenge where we would love also to allow our employees to utilize public services. But the challenge there again, will they be uploading sensitive information related to the company itself? So that was a challenge, and we wouldn't also wanted to stop creativity. We would allow our employees to utilize such services. So we've designed our systems with two models. It analyzes the prompt, and there is a security layer that will understand if this particular prompt related to the entity itself, they will be advised to utilize the internal models instead of just going public. So we've I think came up out of the box with unique methods to ensure our employees they have the right governance applied.
Absolutely. I mean, we wouldn't have known about it otherwise if you hadn't told us. So great insight there. Hugo, you're of course one of the leading airlines in Europe, but a lot of smaller airlines often struggle to move from a proof of concept to operational reality. What sort of advice would you give to them? And especially when you justify the ROI, it's one of my favorite questions. How do you justify?
Let me start by saying this. There are three big reasons for an airline to be recognized. Either it's big, and if you're doing things right or wrong, everybody is going to know about you. You can have an incident, a serious accident, and everybody is going to know about that. And I cannot be neither of those. So there's the third path, which is to be irreverent, to do something that's different, to do something that nobody is doing yet. And that makes me relevant. And I say me as an organization, of course. Every time I go to the board, they ask me two questions. And I say, well, I need more money for this. They ask me two questions. The first question is it mandatory? And if the regulator makes it mandatory, then it's easy for me. Well, it is mandatory, so we need to find the money. The second question is, okay, not being mandatory, how much is going to cost us and how much is going to save us? So if I am allowed to present some recommendation.
Attention, please. Can cleaning staff please come to meeting room 2?
Not for us.
I hope the cleaning staff will arrive on time.
Attention, please. Can the cleaning staff please come to meeting room 2?
What I would say is prepare a good presentation, a solid business plan, and in training, there's no cost. There's only investment. So start from that. how much is going to cost to be cleared, how much is going to save. Sometimes it won't save anything, but there needs to be a perspective of saving. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to sell to the board if you're investing in new things. And choose a scalable, system. Choose something that can start small as a proof of concept. As we did with VR, the first contract for VR, we bought 3 goggles. 3 goggles. We now have 30. So something that can be scalable. With these new technologies, that's mandatory.
I wish we could carry this conversation further. We're just running out of time, but before we sort of call it a close formally, Ahmed, very interesting conversation so far. You've told us the journey from 2009 until 25. What do the next 5 years look like for you? Where is the single biggest impact that you're going to see AI making in the next 5 years?
Air navigation services, for sure. That's going to be the biggest impact. But when it comes, to workforce, I would say we are in GCAA. We are freeing talents. We're not going to replace humans. We're going to empower our staff with AI tools. I see the aviation industry as one ecosystem. Also, adding on top of it, of what Hugo just said, regarding regulation. We have an open discussion with our stakeholders and the aviation industry. So we are not moving forward without them, on board with us, because their success is our success.
Absolutely. It's always collaborative as part of one ecosystem. Hugo, one closing remark. We're unfortunately out of time. Well, I can give you 30 seconds to sum up. Where is TAP? Where is Portugal? Where is the world of aviation in Europe going to in the next 5 years using AI?
Well, AI obviously is going to be major analyzing big data. That's where we need to focus, and it's helping us already in search. When we are searching for something in aviation, there's an array of manuals and regulations and websites that we need to look at the same time, and AI is a wonderful filter for that. When a pilot searches for one theme, he wants to have different information than when a regulator is looking for that theme. And as far as we at Google, the results were always the same. With AI, they are not. They're much more customized. They're much more on point. So AI is going to save a lot of time.
I'm sure AI is going to save a lot of time and hopefully keep a lot more jobs than we anticipate. Thank you, gents, for your interesting insights into the world of workforce management through AI. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen in the crowd, for listening to us, and hopefully see you again around by the time the next Dubai Airshow comes around. Thank you. Obrigado.
Thank you.
Shukran jazilan. Thank you.